This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. Welcome to the Churchill County Planning Commission meeting, November the 13th. The time is 6 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. Please rise and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Victor, you want to lead us out?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, public comment. None heard. Agenda item number 4, verification of the posting of the agenda.
The agenda was posted in accordance with the statutes and as stated on the agenda.
Thank you. Agenda 5, the approval of the agenda as submitted. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Jeff, going for the record, I move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Motion been made by Commissioner Goins, seconded by Commissioner Hyde. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anybody online?
Tammy, what was your vote? Tammy, we didn't hear your vote.
I'm sorry, aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 6, verification of notification of all landowners in accordance with the NRS and the Churchill County Consolidated Development Code.
Every attempt to reach the nearby landowners was made.
Thank you. Agenda item 7, approval of the minutes of the meeting held on October the 9th, 2024, public hearing. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Mark Hyde for the record. I move that we approve the minutes of the meeting held on October 9th, 2024, public hearing.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Hyde, seconded by Commissioner Goins. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item 8, old business. Item A, an annual review of the special use permit that was granted to Safety Clean Systems Incorporated on November the 8th, 2023 for an existing motor oil refinery facility to increase the throughput and to install a new hydrogen generator. This property is located at 22211 Bango Road, assessor's parcel number 007-071-80 and 007-07181. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this application? Please come forward. Should be able to touch one of those red lights. It'll go green. State your name and business address for the record, please.
Hello, Chris Balhoff with Safety Clean at 22211 Bango Road.
Thank you. Planner Patterson, do you have comments?
Yes, thank you. Dean Patterson, Churchill County Planning for the record. This is a special use permit that was approved November 8th of 2023. The Planning Commission approved it. It was to install a new hydrogen generator and increase their volume throughput. There were 10 conditions of approval that the Planning Commission imposed. The applicant provided some information regarding their progress. Most of the conditions of approval relate to more ongoing conditions from previous special use permits. 4 related to specific things. Number 8 related to obtaining building permits. That was done. Number 3 related to the hydrogen generator may not be operated until they get water rights. That's been done. That's been the major delay in the project, if I'm not mistaken. They completed their water right process like a month or two ago. Number 4 was updating operations manuals and the emergency response plan. They've indicated that they're still working on that. In addition, the condition number 1 talked about review in every annual review, basically, to review issues related to odors caused by the hydrogen generator increased throughput. So since the since the machinery has not been completed yet, or is about to be anyway, I guess we'd recommend that you continue to review this application annually and see how it goes for once the hydrogen generator is up and running. And the applicant's here, he can answer more questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant have anything they'd like to add that's not been provided, or?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions or discussion for the applicant?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mark Knight for the record. Could you help us understand what's been done or being done to contain the odors? Because we've had complaints that those odors are still persistent and go beyond your property. And in our last meeting, I know we talked about some practices that could be employed to better contain the odors. So would you address that for us, please?
Sure. First of all, I'm not aware of any odor complaints besides the public comment that was submitted during the review last year. There was I think, a public comment that had some concerns based off of previous odors. To my knowledge, there's no new odor complaints. I think it was you that was mentioning a specific technology. Did do some research on that. Right now, we're continuing to operate our caustic scrubbers, which can destruct 99% of the sulfur dioxide, which is their main purpose. So as far as I'm aware, we don't have any new odor complaints.
Thank you. Can staff provide this copy of this letter to?
Yes, Dean Patterson for the record. So the request is to read it into the record. Is that what you'd like me to do?
Yes, please.
And I think, Dean, the applicant here needs to have a copy of that as well, I would think, yeah. Because they obviously haven't seen it.
I think it just came in today.
Okay.
It's referencing their 2023 permit, and today's item. From Sherry Weideman, 13991 and 13993 Cadet Road, Fallon. Planning Commissioners, Safety Clean Inc. has not contained their odors. For example, their odors continuously hovered over the Carson River on October 31 from 6 to 8 p.m. the entire time I was tending livestock. Their odors were also present again on the morning of November 2nd, 2024. Their letter does not state anything about decreasing odors or reevaluating best practices or perimeter monitoring as discussed and requested in detail at the November 8, 2023 meeting, just that they have received no complaints. This facility has released odors over 18 years. Yes, the odors are fewer, however, they are still a nuisance. The odors do go out of their facility boundary. Currently, only a slight breeze carries the odors off their site. Please hold Safety Clean accountable to capture their current odors prior to allowing them to increase their emissions.
So I guess
Please.
I
Yes.
can speak to that directly.
Let's just only talk about the new stuff that we're doing. What
Okay.
we don't need to talk about what the plant's doing already, just what
Okay.
you're proposing to do.
Sure. So as Dean mentioned, the hydrogen generation unit is not online currently. We've just done some basic testing of that unit, so we haven't started that up. We're still waiting right now on our supplier to complete their mechanical compliance permits with the state of Nevada, so that's currently what we're waiting on. So that's not online. We haven't used the additional throughput at the current moment, so that remains unchanged right now. As far as what we're doing, I mean, the hydrogen generation unit is not expected to increase odors or have any odors that would be outside the fence line for sure. As far as the increased throughput, we would continue to use the current odor control devices that we have. I think in the past there was a kind of biopond that was used that was taken out years ago and is no longer in place, which was driving a lot of the odors. And definitely, if we receive these complaints and we can set up a way for the public to directly submit these complaints, that way we can go and investigate. And I will investigate these 2 dates now that I have them. But we can set something up to go and investigate and check and provide our findings on that.
Okay. We recommend that you speak with staff and maybe provide them some contact information direct to
Sure.
you maybe. So
Sure.
when someone does call, they can just say, call this guy right now and he'll talk to you.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go that route.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
And then as far as their letter, we don't need to talk about anything in the past because it's not on the agenda, correct? Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other comments from the commission? Questions?
Just quickly, so to the added throughput, I know at that meeting, we were really confident, you were very confident, that the scrubber that was there would be able to handle this new throughput.
Right.
My question, I guess, would be, and I brought this up last time, what's the maintenance on that scrubber? I mean, are you guys maintaining, because I'm wondering if, and I know we're not talking to this, but if that could be a down date that you had maintenance working on that scrubber, I don't know if that's potentially where this odor, problem came in. So can you speak to that as far as the maintenance on those? Because I know when they're being maintained,
Yeah.
those odors are still being off-gassed, yeah.
Yeah, so our normal maintenance procedure on those scrubbers is every 6 months, we open up and remove and replace the packing. So it's got kind of like a polypropylene packing in there that's helping the interface between the liquids and the gases. And we open that up and replace it every 6 months. We have 2 caustic scrubbers, and we replace that. And then ongoing, during operation, we monitor the pH and the conductivity and flows and everything to ensure that it's operating as designed. There are alarms that go to the operator if there's any deviations, and there's also lab results that we do on the scrubber. So we test the water and everything to ensure that it's in specification on a daily basis.
Thank you. Commissioner Edgman, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, I do. In regards to question number 4, or item number 4, it said the site's operation manuals and emergency response plan shall be updated to incorporate. And in regards to their letter dated October 18th, they stated that they were in the process and the progression would be completed on October 31st of 2024. Has that deadline been met?
No, and the reason is because of delays to start up the hydrogen generator. So I just signed this week the final version of that emergency response plan, and so that's going to go out probably next week. I would anticipate.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's no other discussion. Call for a motion to set this up for another review.
Mr. Chairman, Jeff Goings for the record. I move to review this application in 1 year. I think we can probably get this accomplished in this year coming, so I do believe that we still need an annual review until this is brought up to in operations.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Goins, second by Commissioner Sotigi. Those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. You'll have a review in 1 year. You'll be notified by the staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda 8, old business B, annual review of the special use permit that was granted to Cheek Construction on November the 8th, 2023 for an off-premises outside storage. The property is located at 9895 Carson Highway, assessor's parcel number 007-17176. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this application?
Mr. Chair, Dean Patterson for the record.
Hang on, I want to, on the record, that no one is here to speak on
That's
behalf of
what
the
I was going to
application.
point out.
Okay, go
They
ahead.
had communicated with us and let us know that they weren't going to be able to have somebody here. But did you need it to do anything more than that before I proceed?
Do you guys want to discuss it? Do you want us to postpone it? Do you
We'll
think you have
discuss
enough
it.
information to keep it moving?
Yeah.
Okay, let's,
So the special use permit was approved a year ago with 8 conditions of approval. And reviewing those, it appears that pretty much all of their conditions of approval have been met. There's a cute couple of unsure items related to their nighttime lighting and the dark sky standard. Our code enforcement officer drives by at night regularly, so perhaps she knows the situation on that. But the other one is a fire marshal requirement to have fire extinguishers. The fire marshal provided comments, which you should have, indicating that fire extending, this requirement has been met for the existing outside operations. Additional extinguishers shall need to be installed in the building prior to occupancy. I don't know if you want to delay, keep reviewing this application based on that. That's your call. The fire marshal regularly checks commercial properties,
have you confirmed that all the conditions have been met?
except for those 2 that I mentioned.
Okay,
And they're probably fine, but I can't say for sure.
okay. Since we don't know that for sure, we need to consider that. Does the code enforcement, do you have any comments since he mentioned your department?
Lorelei LeBaron, Churchill County Code Compliance Official for the record. I do drive by that location quite often and sometimes at dark. And I haven't seen really any issues with the lighting, but they are so far back, nothing's really projecting into the highway front. However, I do have notated in my records and have observed that there is a portion of the fence which is still not properly screened with opaque screening.
Is that the property that touches Walker Lake Disposal? Because weren't they?
Yes, it is.
They were going to work with them together, I think, to screen that or something, is what I remember. So we probably should check on that. Does any of the commissioners have any other questions or discussion? Commissioner Edgman, do you have any comments?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. Ask for a motion to either go ahead and approve for no further review or set it up for a review until we get answers on the fencing and the couple items that were not discussed. And then consider the timeline. I don't know if you want to do a shorter than 1 year or whatever you guys think.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Hyde for the record. I move to review this application in 1 year to give an opportunity for those items that are still outstanding to be completed. This would be for the special use permit that was previously granted to Cheek Construction on November 8th, 2023.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Hyde, second by Commissioner Goins. Those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda 8C, annual review for a special use permit that was granted to Omaha Track Incorporated on July the 13th, 2022 for a rail-based service facility. The property is located at 1006 Nevada Street, assessor's parcel number 009-25174, 009-25186, and 009-25188. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of the application? Please come forward, push one of the red lights till it turns green, state your name and business address for the record.
Meg Ridge, Omaha Track, 1006 Nevada Street, Hazen.
Thank you. Planner Patterson, do you have comments?
So this is a special use permit that was, I think it's been approved for 2 years now. Shortly after that, there was a fire. There was some other proceedings since then. Omaha Track had an application review last year. And of course, now we're here for this review. They've had a lot of difficulties getting things going. Meg Ridge provided a detailed review of the conditions of approval and compliance, so I'll let her go through those, or you can ask her questions as you like. A lot of progress has been made, including landscaping along the highway, plans for signage, the sound berm along the side facing Hazen, metal materials storage areas along the canal, using the canal berm as the screening. Progress on the building, which you see in the picture there. There was a major delay starting some months ago when the neighborhood in the area of Omaha Track on the west side of the property, so Omaha Track and the neighbors went through the process of abandoning some old right-of-way streets that were established when Hazen was first established. And so the result of that was that each party on either side of the street or alley got half the property. So this expanded everybody's property by the area of the abandoned streets. So there was a problem in that the berm was actually built within the street, and so the abandonment corrected that, and it also resulted in problems that delayed the building, and so the abandonment corrected that. So I believe the pictures there showed there, is that the current progress, today's progress, or a while ago?
No, that's today.
So it looks like they're about to go vertical from the foundation, and so that's where they're at. There have been a few situations where the companies requested to exceed their number of ties limit that was established with the fire marshal, and those were temporary instance well, there's two. The first one was a temporary instance, and then they went back under their limit. The most recent one was not long ago, and they requested to go over their limit, and the director and fire marshal okayed it because the building was underway. So hopefully this building will be built rapidly, although I'm sure Meg is getting frustrated from what I hear. But with the building, then the fire trucks can be stored in a temperature-controlled environment so they don't freeze, and then the fire marshal will allow them to go over their railroad tie limit. I guess I didn't have it right in front of me, but I think it goes up from 50,000 to 120? 150. So that will solve a lot of their problems. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Meg, do you have anything you'd like to add to the comments or the information that's been presented?
Not at this time unless you guys have questions for me.
Okay. Does the commission have any questions? discussion?
Vicky and Sotogi for the record. Mr. Chair, how long is the projected timeline on that building?
So I did ask the contractor today to give me an estimate. He said, as far as the outer shell, about a week to a week and a half. Installation would take about a week, and then finalizing the heating and stuff. So he estimates 5 to 6 weeks for it to be complete.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, and Mark Hyde for the record. I just want to say that this is a breath of fresh air, you know. We're actually not just kicking the can down the road, but we're getting things done, so
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
The foundation is for the storage building, correct?
For the water truck building, yes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Edgman, do you have any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair, the team. Yeah, just an update on the actual submission by Meg. Item number D is partially in compliance. Item number F is not in compliance, and item number H is not in compliance. And also, has there been any complaints or concerns reported? If we can just get an update possibly and
Yes.
the progress of those incompleted items.
Okay, so item D, the landscaping. So the landscaping along the highway has been completed. The landscaping along the sound berm closest to the neighborhood is complete now. The only landscaping that isn't complete is what is required after the building and the parking lot go in. So that will happen once that is done. And then, what was the other one? F, the parking lot?
F?
So the parking lot, he will work on that. He said he was going to submit for permits for that. He is working on that. Our only concern is we're a little nervous we're gonna run into weather and not get it done before the winter. But he is working on that as well. And then H was the last one? Or
Correct.
Was it H? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe when I talked to Jera, she told me that because at the time we didn't have permanent buildings, we didn't have this, but as soon as our permanent buildings were in, that's when it would be due.
Thank you.
You concur with that, Director Hans? Yes. Thanks. No further discussion or questions asked for a motion to set up another review and the timeline.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mark Hyde for the record. I do have a question, and that would be on timeline on these outstanding items. What do you project for a time when these would be completed?
I would love to be optimistic and say 6 months, but I do wonder about the weather and the winter, so I would like to ask for a 1-year review.
Okay. So while I have the mic here, I'll go ahead and make that motion that I move to review this application in 1 year. That gives you the 12 months. That would be the SUP for Omaha Track.
Motion been made by Commissioner Hyde, second by Commissioner Goins. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0 for an extension of 1 year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Agenda item 8D, temporary use permit renewal application for temporary quarters during home construction filed by Carrie Bassford. The property is located at 895 Howard Place. The assessor's parcel number is 007-85119. This permit originated in 8/12 of 2020. The Planning Commission granted a 3-month renewal at the August 14th, 2024 meeting and requested the applicant to show significant progress. Mr. Bassford, can you touch the red light, make it turn green? The red one? The red light? One of the red lights there? There you go. State your name and address for the record. State your name and address for the record.
Carrie Bassford,
Your address?
895 Howard Place, Fallon, Nevada, 89406.
Thank you. Director Hines?
Yes, Randy Hines, Churchill County Public Works Director. Over the last 3 months, Mr. Bassford has paid his impact fees, has received his building permit that was issued on November 7th. So he's met the requirements that you guys put on 3 months ago. So I guess from here, we just need to continue this TUP for home construction. I just want to note that the TUPs now are administrative, so we have a 3-year time frame on that as far as this house being built, with a yearly review, or I guess a yearly renewal that shows substantial completion every year until that house is completed. So with this being, I guess, ran through the planning commission, do we want to continue to run that through the planning commission, or do we want to make that go through the office? So
Deputy Sanford?
I'd recommend that it be done through the office in compliance with all of the permits. There will be an appeal to this board in the event that that's necessary.
So to reiterate, and I just want to make sure that Mr. Bassford knows that every year we'll have a renewal process for this TUP, and there has to be substantial completion on the house that you're building. Now that you have your building permit, we need to have substantial completion, and we can work with you in the office on what that needs to be. And that this TUP expires in 3 years, because you have 3 years to build your house. So,
How what?
you have 3 years. This TUP is good for 3 years, then it's terminated. So you have 3 years to complete your house. So that you understand that.
Will that be in writing?
It's in the Churchill County Code, so that will be applicable not only to you, but to every single citizen in Churchill County. So it's available online for your review.
Yes, yes. So again, I think we just need to come and meet in the office to go over the requirements of that TUP. So you know the deadlines, the yearly renewal for 3 years. And that's what you have, is 3 years to complete your house.
Because right now, I'm at the place where I have 180 days to start the foundation.
Correct.
And then if need be, I can get an extension, but I want to get started in come spring.
Okay.
Get the foundation in. And
Yeah.
I've already talked to Cheek Cement. I've already talked to them. So I don't want to jump the gun with them, but in the very near future here, but I already have talked to them and been in there and talked to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the building permit that they only run for 180 days, so it's 6 months. So if you get to that point, you need to extend that, just go and see Jara and she can extend that out for you.
All right.
So,
Okay.
but I just want to let you know, the TUP is good for 3 years max, and then it's done. You can't, it's that temporary use permit is expired after, there's no more extensions after that,
So if it's not completed in 3 years, there's no extension? Is that what you're saying?
That's,
Right. What happens then?
That's correct.
What would happen if it's not completed in 3 years?
You wouldn't be allowed to live in the,
I'm sorry?
you would not be allowed to live on the RV on the property
Right,
after that 3-year period.
right. But can I live in the house?
If it's built, then
If it's not
you have
completed?
occupancy permit.
if you have your C of O, you can live in the house.
I'm sorry?
If you have your certificate of occupancy, you can live in the house.
Okay.
So it has to be complete to live in there. So what we're saying is we're limiting the home construction TUPs to 3
Right.
years, right? You've been going on for 4 years now, so yours is gonna be 7 total, right? So you have 3 more years to get the house
That's
complete.
good. I think that's fair, 3
That's-
years.
Okay,
You know,
just so you're aware, that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying, I just wanna get
if I can
through
get
you.
it done sooner, I will.
That's what we wanna see.
Yeah.
And you can go over that with him when you meet to make sure there's a clear understanding.
Yep, as soon
Because
as,
he has
as
a
soon as
hearing.
you're ready to start your construction, you'll come in and meet with Jara and myself, and we'll go over all that
Oh,
stuff.
you mean beyond the foundation?
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Actual framing?
Yep.
Right, okay. Okay, we're working on that also,
Yes,
looking for a carpenter for that also. We've interviewed quite a few,
okay.
yeah.
And then, so you've met the conditions that we made last, 90 days ago, and now you're projecting that within 180 days, you will have the concrete foundation complete, and you are actively pursuing a contract for a carpenter to build the home.
Right.
Is there anything else that you would like to provide us with tonight?
So what you're saying is, I'd like to get within 180 days, and if need be, an extension, but I don't want to do that. But then, once that's done, then the following year, I can start, like you said, I have 3 years, right? So beyond that, then
Well,
I need
you're-
to start construction.
Your building permit lasts for 180 days.
Right,
If you can't build your house in 180 days, then you need to go talk to the building department to work out an extension with them.
well, I'm
Okay?
confused.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna direct you to Mr. Hines, and he'll sit down with you and talk to you for as long as you need to
Okay.
get this all figured out.
All right,
Okay, you have two components. You can live on the property for 3 years until you get the house built, but then the house building is a different component, okay?
for the 3 years.
I just want to clarify, will be a 1-year permit, and you will have to show substantial progress every single year
Right,
to get up to the 3 years.
exactly.
3 years is the absolute maximum.
Right.
If you have not shown substantial progress by next year's renewal, you will not receive a renewal. Does that make sense?
You lost me again there. Okay, so I'll come back to
Thank
you.
you. I just wanted to be
Okay.
clear in the record.
Yes, come, set up a meeting, Jared, I'll have Jared reach out to you, and we'll set up a meeting next
Right.
week or something.
I'll
We'll sit
come into
down
the
with
office.
you and we'll go over it.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, are you prepared for a motion?
I wanted to clarify with the DA that, are we approving this and just pushing it to his office?
Yep.
So we don't need to do anything less than
Yep.
1 year?
So my motion is going to be, I
Right.
move that we no longer review and require annual review of this application, and all further
Actually,
actions taken will be through planning department. Okay?
yeah. Hang on just a second. Jeff, can we hold that motion for a second? Commissioner Edgman, do you have any comments or questions?
None at this time.
Thank you. Can I have a second for Jeff's motion? Motion been made by Commissioner Goins, second by Commissioner Hyde, that to renew this TUP for
No.
1 year.
No longer, we
You
are
no
no
longer
longer
need a
going
review
to
of the planning
require an
commission.
annual review, and all further coordination is going to be taken through planning department. This board will not be hearing.
Just for clarity, I'll just make the recommendation that that this permit be renewed for 1 year, and that further renewals will be through the planning department.
Perfect.
Do you still agree with the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Bassford.
Thank you.
Please, Randy will be in contact with you next week.
All right, I appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Agenda 9, new business. A, an application for a variance from the paving requirements for a parcel map in Churchill County Code 16.12.040.2.A.4, filed by Cindy Troxel and Bernard Ponte for the Ponte Family Trust. The property is located at 1250 Rice Road, Assessor's Parcel Number 008-27203, consisting of 66.29 acres in the E1 zoning district. The applicant proposes to divide 3.6 acre lot from the parcel and requests a variance from the paving requirement. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this variance request? Please push the red light and it'll turn green. State your name and address for the record if you wish to speak.
My name is Bernard Ponte Jr. I'm here on behalf of the Bernard and Joyce Ponte Family Trust that co-owns the property. Address is 3995 Westwood Drive, Carson City, Nevada.
And I'm Cynthia Troxel, and my address is 1641 Tamara Lane, Fallon, Nevada.
Thank you. Connor Patterson?
Thank you, Dean Patterson, for the record. So the applicants are proposing a variance from the parcel map road paving requirement. The parcel map will be heard at a later date. The creation of new lots requires frontage on a publicly maintained road or the construction or upgrading of a road reaching to the new lots. When the new lots are 20 acres or less, the road must be paved, and so that's what they're requesting a variance from. The future parcel map will create a smaller lot, and you can see that on the screen, around the farmstead and home, and a larger lot containing the farmed land. The applicant requests that their access road, which exists to the smaller lot, not have to be paved. Note that the application requests a variance from the paving requirement, but the road standard still has to be determined. This could be a county gravel road or a minimum access road. The staff report describes the differences between them. Diane, did you point out the location of the, where the little, oh, let's see if this works. Yeah. No, it's not going to work. There it goes. Can you go back a screen? Okay, go ahead. Then didn't know it would stop, sorry. It's this strip of, it's this strip of road across the water company property. It holds the water company well, and this easement is 60 feet wide and reaches to the property across the canal. So the applicant's farmstead and home do not front on a public road, but rather take access on that driveway that I was pointing out within the 60-foot road easement across the water company property. Splitting the property requires the road serving this lot to meet county standards. The road easement is adequate to allow the lot split, but the road would have to be improved to the paved standard unless this variance is approved. The larger property, being the farmland, will also front on Wade Lane. While it officially has access to this farmstead driveway that we're discussing, existing development in the farmstead area would prevent placing a road there to serve the future development of the large lot. Diane, can you go to the air photo? Thank you. You can see the buildings here are close to the bridge crossing and would get in the way of putting a road there for future development of the large farm if that happened in the future. The parcel map will explicitly cut off the larger parcel from the Rice Road driveway we're talking about, but it has extensive frontage on Wade Lane and may also be able to use the Red Road connection across the canal, which lies further to the east. It will be minimally affected by losing the access through the farmstead area to Rice Road. If this variance is approved, the condition of the driveway and canal bridge will be assessed during the parcel map review. The road will still need to be improved to meet county road standards that are approved in the variance. There are 4 variance criteria that are reviewed in the staff report. In summary, if the intent was to create a new lot for development, it would be similar to all other land divisions. There would be no hardship or difficulty, and staff would recommend denial. However, this road situation has existed for a long time and will not change as a result of the planned land division. The road supervisor has reviewed the proposal and agrees it causes no problems to allow the road to be gravel, but recommends that whatever standard is used, the road should be privately maintained, which is a requirement of the minimum access standard. If the variance is approved, the appropriate road standard needs to be required in this decision, and that this could be a county gravel road standard or the minimum access road standard. The staff report recommends allowing the minimum access road, and the county code has criteria for that. The staff report reviewed the criteria, and the recommended motion includes an action on allowing a minimum access road standard. If the commission feels a different standard is more appropriate, the motion should be changed. So staff recommends approval, and there are recommended conditions in the staff report. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant have anything else they'd like to add?
No, that covers it.
Thank you. Is there any questions or discussion from the commission?
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
Tammy Etchman for the record. The only question that I have is, I know that there's a parcel map that is coming, and they're stating that there'll be no additional homes using the existing driveway. So it will be, how will other people not be able to use this access that's being granted as a shortcut to the new parcels once the parcel map is complete, rather than them driving all the way around to Wade Lane, using this shortcut?
It just has an easement for,
Director
But-
or Planner Patterson? Or
you want to tell them that it's just an easement to that?
So I don't think it, sorry, microphone just turned on. I don't think that taking a shortcut to reach a future development and a large farmland lot would be very likely, although that will probably be up to the future property owner to control. It really is a glorified driveway, so it's not too conducive to people using it illicitly, let's say. I'm not sure if that really answered your question, so please clarify if not.
Okay.
And if I might, Mr. Chairman, I believe the question, and maybe it's just a slight misunderstanding, is there will be a parcel map, but that parcel map will not be creating any lots other than the lot we're talking about here. There will be potentially, if there was ever further development, a second parcel map that's not being considered tonight. And as part of your conditions of approval for this action, one of the conditions is that any future development will have to have a rediscussion on what the road standard would be.
Thank you for clarification.
Do you have any further, Commissioner Edgman?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, just want to make sure everybody's perfectly clear. The existing driveway serves that parcel already, and no further development will happen. So really, all that this current driveway is affecting is what it's affecting right now, which is basically the homestead, correct?
Correct.
So no changes there. I just want that clarified and on the record that we're not doing any other things here. It is serving that homestead, and that will be what will happen. The only thing is that homestead will be in its own separate parcel.
Correct.
Perfect.
Thank you. Is there any public comment concerning this matter? None heard. I ask for the commission for a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Hyde for the record. Based on the information provided in the application and the staff report and heard tonight, I move that the findings have been met for conformance with the criteria found in the Churchill County Code 16.08.090F, and therefore approve the application for a variance from the parcel map road paving requirement on APN 008-272-03, and that the proposal meets the criteria for a minimum access road. This approval is subject to conditions as listed in the staff report.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Hyde, second by Commissioner Sodiki. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning Department will contact you, right, on the variance? They'll contact you within 10 days and clearing up the paperwork. Agenda 9, new business. B, special use permit application for a home-based horse boarding business filed by Shalina Hoskington for Benchmark Ranch. The property is located at 425 Bench Road, assessor's parcel number 007111-50, consisting of 21.04 acres in the A10 zoning district. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this application? Please come forward. Just touch one of the red lights till it turns green. State your name and address for the record.
Shalina Hoisington, 425 Bench Road.
Thank you. Planner Patterson?
Yeah, thank you. Dean Patterson for the record. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for a home-based business at their home property. The home businesses don't always need a special use permit except when proposing certain things. The proposed business is requesting to A, have customers coming to the property, B, have an outdoor business area for equestrian uses, and C, have a business sign. Note that the applicants are not proposing equestrian training classes or events, and those activities are not allowed. The site plan shows the layout of the existing facilities that will be used. The application proposes horse boarding, but does not specify the number of horses. Communications with the applicant indicate that there would be up to 15 horses boarded, and they may share the large pens. Hours of operation are not stated, nor are the limits of customer visits. The Planning Commission may wish to question the applicant and set limits. The application proposes both long-term and short-term boarding. Note that in recent years, short-term boarding includes overnight boarding with nighttime arrivals. In addition, sometimes the client's asked to stay on the property overnight as well. This is essentially a lodging use, which is not allowed and that can't be approved in a home business permit. A sign is approved at the driveway entry based on an existing sign. It's too large for a home business, so the applicant will remove boards to reduce the size to be under 10 square feet, under the 10 square foot limit. The resulting sign will be about 9 square feet. A picture with notations is included in the submittal that illustrates the change. The staff report reviews the 5 criteria for a special use permit. A few issues were raised. ADA accessibility is one. Since all equestrian businesses accessed by clients are normally outside, ADA accessibility is not an issue. However, this only applies if all customers are excluded from the home business restroom, and that is allowed and it is proposed. Regarding signage, the applicant proposes a sign as described in the application. It will be 9 square feet and it meets the size limit. A potential environmental impact to the neighborhood relates to nighttime activities. Businesses with nighttime customer visits are not appropriate for a home business, nor are lodging activities. Overnight boarding customers will tend to cause nighttime customer visits. Recommended conditions will prohibit customer visits after 7 p.m. and prohibit customers staying overnight. Staff recommends approval. There are recommended conditions in the staff report to deal with issues raised in the staff report. With that, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Does the applicant have anything they'd like to add that's new information not been provided?
No, we took down the sign that was up until we do have it in size to meet the requirements. And we don't plan on having any short-term, like overnight type stays or anything. My grandmother lives on the property and we like to keep it kind of whatever. And as far as you know, as the people trafficking, it would just kind of be them visiting their horses. They wouldn't be in charge of feeding or anything, so it would just kind of probably be, you know, on their own discretion when they wanted to come visit their horses. But we don't imagine it will be a lot of foot traffic or anything that would be abnormal for our neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Does the commission have any questions or discussion? Commissioner Edgman, do you have any comments?
No.
Mr. Chairman, Jeff Goings for the record. Ma'am, I just want to make sure that you've seen that the recommended conditions, if this is approved, and have you gone through them and understand them, and you're good with them, and okay.
Yes.
All right. Just like to make sure that you understand there are some conditions.
There are.
And they got to be met. Okay.
Absolutely.
You did comment that some of your customers would just sort of come and go on their own. So in the conditions, you know, there is a 7 a.m., 7 p.m. time frame, right? So you need to make sure that they...
Yeah, I will let them know.
Okay.
Now that I'm aware that that's how it needs to be.
And just make sure you read those, make sure you're familiar with them. You have any questions, you just contact the planning department.
I will.
They'll help you out, okay? Director for Planning
Dean
Management.
Patterson, for the record, I did want to point out that we received a comment letter from Roger Mooney 465 Bench Road. He was in support of the application and states that our rural neighborhood needs more horses and fewer scrap metal yards.
Commissioner Nelson, go ahead.
So the time frame that you guys put on here, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and in the summertime, is that realistic? Because it's 100 degrees and everybody's out from 7 to 9 when it's light. Do we want to address that now before it becomes a problem?
Or what's the applicant feel like? What do you,
Well,
I mean, have
actually
you done
really-
this somewhere else before? or-
Well, I actually appreciate you brought that up. That is a good point. If there would be a possibility at all for in the summertime to extend the hours just a little bit, you know, maybe to 9, if it would be possible. But I mean, but if not, I would still be
Okay.
more than happy to enforce the 7 and keep it that way.
DA Sanford, would you like to comment?
Depending on the commission's will, you could limit it to daylight hours and then,
That covers.
and then open it to 7 PM even in the winter when it is dark.
Okay.
So in the recommended conditions D, we will change that to daylight hours and,
At least 7 AM.
but the minimum of 7 PM in the winter time. Is that what you want?
Sounds great.
Ask for a motion of approval or denial?
So we're going to need to add that to
I just did, I think.
If you want to, yes. You put that in the motion with the changing in the conditions as stated by Commissioner Howe. Eric?
No, I agree with that. That's why I wanted you to, I was trying to
Thank
get you to
you.
say, hey, maybe there's a.
I just didn't
Yeah.
necessarily think about the summertime hours. Right now, that seems feasible.
Okay,
Thank you.
so then, Mr. Chairman, you prepared for a motion?
Yes, please.
Based on the information provided in the application, the staff report, and heard tonight, I move that the findings have been met for conformance with the criteria found in CCC 1608.080H, and therefore approve the application for home business special use permit for horse boarding at 425 Bench Road, APN 007-111-50. The approval is subject to the conditions as listed in the staff report. We will amend condition D to daylight hours with a maximum, we're just going to go with daylight hours.
Daylight hours up till 7 PM and during winter. 'cause it'll be dark.
Well, it'll be dark at 7 PM.
I'd say
It'll be, yeah, that's what,
daylight hours, no less than 7 AM to 7 PM.
yeah, okay, perfect. No less than 7 AM to 7 PM.
Okay. Second?
I second that.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Goins, second by Commissioner Sodigi. And prior to calling the vote, I forgot to ask for public comment. Is there any public comment? None heard. I now ask for the vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. There's a 10-day appeal period, at which time the planning department will contact you to finish the paperwork.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 10, consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted?
Mr. Chair, Vic Ansotigi for the record. I move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Motion been made by Commissioner Sodigi, second by Commissioner Hyde. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item 11, public comment. Is there any public comment? None heard. Agenda item 12. This meeting is adjourned, 6:59 PM. Thank you.
Eric, were you going to be
Joe said